What's up? What it is? Straight dub station. Boo! Well, I'm just messing around. This patch here, accurate dub. It was always designed to be played into a digital delay. Without it, it's just a single chord at the beginning of each hit, so it's boring. So I decided to drop one in using the effects in my sound card, using Echo 2 here. But let's go back to a more reasonable reverb for the rest of this stream here, otherwise it'll get out of hand. We don't need that. There we go. Okay, what are we doing, crew? We're doing the Father Nord stream 2. They tried to blow me up. They failed. They could not destroy the Nord stream. That's just a little topical political humor for y'all out there. This is my old patch, Accurate Dub 1. It did actually become a song. Which Father Moose song is this? That's a great question. It's somewhere in there. I'll just refresh my own memory here. Promote the stream by looping back and looking at the stream. Oh, you know what? This probably isn't uploaded yet. It's not. It's an official Father Moon track, but it's not on the YouTube channel. So I'm just wasting my time. We'll worry about that later. I got one more stream in me for today, so I thought I would just go at it without too much of a plan. Sometimes coming up with the plan is harder than doing the stream itself, so I'm just going to freestyle it this time. What am I going to do? I guess we'll find out. Let's dive in with a new patch. Well, let's set up some of the usual suspects here. I should probably have at least a few of these as my default patch that I load up if I'm going to be making the same things every time. The 3-input mixer into the 2 outputs. Okay, one strategy when you don't know what to do is just don't do things the way you always do. So instead of 3-input mixer, let's give them an 8-input mixer. Whoa, that's a lot of inputs. And come up with a clock over here. Oh, I vaguely remember that in a previous patch, I was going to make a bunch of little ambient machines, and the patch went in some other direction, and then I don't remember what happened, but we did not come up with a bunch of ambient machines. So what if we did that? What if we had a clock, but we also had a bunch of little individual voices, each doing their own thing? That's an interesting twisteroo. So this is not always the best way to build a patch, but I have the vague idea in my head, so I'm going to drop in some if not all of the pieces I need while I have the idea. So I'm seeing something where it's like a long loop and maybe 1 or 2 elements are a standard, 32 or 64 bar loop, but not all of them are going to be. And I'm going to want to give some of my resources to... I'm going to probably need 2 columns, aren't I? Okay, let's do it that way. Probably want to give some of my resources to the oscillators here. And at the same time, I'm going to send some of them I'm going to clock them with the clocked pattern generator so that they can be changing dramatically over time. Yeah. And I mean, doing it this way, throwing in your resources first before you start patching it up, isn't wrong. It at least lets you see what you have to work with, and maybe helps you map out a bit of your idea before you actually, or allocate your resources before your idea is nailed down. How about that way of looking at it? We didn't use this guy yet much in the stream, so we're going to try him out today. We have 2 oscillators there, so we're going to need at least 2 envelopes here. I'm going to have one of them be another thing we tried to build before, which was a noise-based oscillator. So I'm going to give myself a 3rd AD envelope and use white noise as or some form of noise as the generator product. Okay, keep organizing here. Move the mixer down. And I'm going to put the ADSRs or their ADs right now. Oh, they kind of have to be in that column. I'm going to put the audio effects up here at the top of the 5th column. I know I want to digitize my noise output. I'm going to put that there. This is a funny one. I'm just going to step aside and say this for a sec. I like to talk about these as being my guitar effects pedals. We got clip, overdrive, and wave wrapper, all forms of distortion. There's also this here, diode processing, which I'll admit I've had this since 04 or 03, and I still never use this module. But what's funny is that in the hardware world, I just bought one of these. I bought a little passive, I think it's 2 HP module, which does diode processing. And something I never learned or never bothered to learn, to be honest, in the Nord Micro Modular, I will now be applying to my hardware application, or at least it'll be there as a reminder, like, you don't know what I am, so why don't you experiment with me, which I admit I'm more likely to do in the hardware world. So, yeah, it's cool that it exists. Why don't I throw one in here, just in the hopes that I'll do something with it. Oh, okay, here we go. So diode processing will let you switch from a positive and negative wave to being a positive or blank wave, or just a positive and positive wave. So it's clipping off 50% of your signal, or if you go into this version, it's flipping that 50% of the signal. It's funny that they only give you these 3 options here, whereas in the one that I bought, it's a knob, so it can dial between values, but maybe all it does is switch between these 3. I honestly don't know, but I'm going to leave it here and think about it later. So we're up to 70%. I don't think I'm going to make any more modules. I'm just going to start building with many of my resources allocated. We've got, I had an 8-voice mixer, so now we've got 2 melodic voices, a noise voice, 3 tunable percussion oscillators, and 2 drum synths, which are usually non-tuned in the melodic sense. We've got the 3 ADs that these 3 guys will need. We're going to need at least 1 filter, and we're going to need a bunch of other things too. So since we got 70% left, let's start building. So, yeah, how about event sequencer? I said we start building, but still, at least I'm dropping in the modules with something in mind. Note sequencers we're going to need. I'm going to try and use both channels of this one just because our processing power is running low. But we may end up using something else to trigger the second one. And I said I was going to use clocked random step generators. I'm going to need a few. Running out of space, so I'm going to drop them in here. Oops, that's not the right guy. Clock pattern generator. There it is. At least 4 of them, if not more. And while I'm at it, let's set their step lengths to nice and long, longer than people expect them to be. Still even numbers so that we repeat semi-mathematically at some point. How about that? How about this? There we go. And we'll give them a little number action here. What you're really getting here is flipping between stored patterns. Oops, we don't want it to go red just yet. So it's still semi-random, and you don't actually know what those patterns are, but in the end, it doesn't matter. We are definitely going to need some random sources as well, so we'll put random generator. The one I deleted before, we're going to need clocked. I'm just going to put in a control signal mixer to save power later rather than making a new one. Let's start it running here. See, I've set my tempo to nice and slow. In fact, I could probably get slower, but let's start with that for now. And give me some notes on here. Maybe this is going to be a bass line. Just ripping off my trick from the last one, having a nice double octave drop near the end, seeing where it gets me. Don't know where it will get me exactly. I always like throwing in octaves in the sequencer. It never gets bored. See, you have to remember, like, your oscillator is really like a full-size grand piano. It can always go from the lowest to the highest note. So you tend to, or I tend to, program things in sequences where they're sort of, repetitively similar to each other, but there's no reason it has to be that way. Let me just explain what I'm doing here. So B1 is going to be this first melodic line. So I took the output and sent it to his pitch in, which I have to crank up all the way. I'm going to call him a square wave and give him some pulse width modulation today. And I'm going to trigger that from this slow-moving random generator. Square waves are cool for bass, and this will give it a bit of motion. Send the output into his... Oh, he doesn't have a filter. He's going to definitely need a filter, low resources or no. Let's give him the classic low-pass filter. So he goes into the filter, into his envelope, and finally he's the first guy to go into the mixer. We can now hear him. Something is wrong there because... Oh, I know what it is. There's no clock for the sequencer, so the pitches aren't changing. Can you just hear that a little more closely? Well, the decay is long enough that I can almost hear the second note after each sequence is triggered. But I like it. It's a bit more notes than I was expecting to have at this point in time. Maybe I should divide my clock. Oh, that's okay. This is only coming to me now as I'm making it up. I was thinking of having few notes run over a large loop. What if my synth just had its clock divided by 4? Let's just remove that and remove that. If the clock is divided by 4, and then now he plays the same melodic pattern, but he's 4 times slower. Let's try that out for size. You can see the little green lights moving much more slowly. I think I can give him a few more notes at this speed. Cool. I like it. Okay, keep on trucking. That was an interesting way of doing it. Let's follow up on that success by repeating it. This time I'm going to divide the clock by 2. Wow, look at how much I've used. Ooh, that's terrible. I'm a bad person. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, divide this one by 2. And instead of using the second channel on here, ooh, I don't know what that would do. Well, anyway, I'm probably going to use one of the pattern generators instead. So let's send the output of this second sequencer into our second oscillator. Crank that to that. I don't know which pitches it's going to be playing. Sorry, I don't know which steps it's going to be playing on, but I'm going to adjust the pitches now while I have it. Keeping my notes, you can't tell this from looking at it, but my notes should be in key with the ones we just sequenced. And as I said, instead of using channel 2 on this guy, well, I'll use it for something else later, but I'm going to use a pattern generator. So all these guys are going to share a clock. I can always fix that. I can always change that later. And this first guy is going to trigger the envelope 2. And I'm going to send Formant OSC into envelope 2. Oops. Triggering rate will be like that. Send the output into here. I'm going to send this straight to the mixer, but I might need a filter for it. Let's listen. Connect to master clock. There he is. Oh, that's a long delay. We're definitely getting that thing where it plays more than one note in the time. Yeah. That's not exactly how I hoped it would go. No, it's not really doing what I wanted it to do. Why don't I do a key quantizer? Instead of what I was just doing, I'm going to pick 3 notes to quantize all random data to. I'm going to take a random LFO, which is clocked, and use that to adjust the pitch of this guy instead. And he's still a bit too buzzy, so he needs a filter of some kind. I'm going to try and find something cheap. This is cheaper than the other one, so I'll use it. That really put a damper on his whole operation. You can hear him now again. He sounds like a little quiet metallic guy in the background. What if this clock generator... Oh, wait, is he getting his from the divided by 4 guy? No, he's not. I want him to, though. Get out of there. Instead of getting his clock from the master clock, I'm going to get it from the divided by 4 one here. And I'm going to delete this unused clock div to save the power I so badly need. Maybe I have these tuned wrong. Is that possible? Yeah, it is. Instead of 64, which is too much, I'm going to cut it down to 32. So the pitch is going to form an Oscar now, more randomized, and he's a little more under control thanks to the filter. Well, he still gets some good high pitch notes in there. I'm going to drop him an octave. He's not the bass, but he's playing pretty high for my taste. Maybe this guy should go down too. Nice. I just liked that. Yeah. A lot of this has got to be trusting your ear, and when I hear something I like, I play it back and let it keep doing it. That bass line sounded neat with just a little bit more decay in it, so I just kept going, just kept feeding them. Just feeding them and feeding them. It's an old Wu-Tang thing, don't worry about it. I'm actually running out of time on my personal budgeting here, but it's time to hook up some more bad boys to the whole system. So our 2 pitched guys are doing their jobs. Let's try to get Mr. Noise Osk into digitizer and have him go into mixer channel 3. What's the problem? Said he doesn't have an envelope. He's just playing all the time. That's crazy. We don't want that. That's why we made envelope 3. Plug it in there. And into there. And this time, let's trigger him, as I promised I would do, from this guy's sequencer. That was his cymbal sound, I guess, if you want to call it that. He's on the 3 and on the 11. Yep. That's cool. You can hear the Game Boy grit in the system there. messing around with where I put them in. Is that too obvious? Let's do a reset just to hear where they're coming from. I think it is too obvious. I'm gonna put it on every 2. Okay, there we go. Time to hook up some more drummy boys here. So let's give this guy one. And give this guy one. Let's send them all some random data so they can have more variety in their lives. See, we up at 98.4. But we ain't running out of stuff to do yet. We'll get there. So there's voices 4 and 5 of this creation, whatever you want to call this kind of creation. Kind of like this. Part of me wants to cut this kick drum's tempo in half. I'm gonna see if I can fit in. Everything I do from now is trade-off because I got so little processing power left. So, as I said, the kick drum is here, being triggered by this guy. So we take this guy's clocks out and instead divide the clock by 2 and hook it back up to the master. It's not bad. I think the snare might need the same treatment. Drop the snare's clock and give him the same one. Can't honestly tell if it was better before or not. Nah, it was better before. Let's do some Control Z here. I still like this. What they need is the old strategy of modulated velocity. So constant. Send them something random. Wonder if I can get away with this. And I got away with it. Yay. That wasn't really anything. It just moved. There we go. So modulating the velocities of those drum synths. Getting close to a point where I really feel I want to save. I don't want to lose the patch if my crappy old computer crashes on me. So let's save it. Streaming patch archive. Headless Robo, because he's a robot with no one in charge. That'll do. So we've got 5 voices in there. We've got 3 left. We've got the percussion oscillators. I'm gonna do some stuff even before we start programming them, which is one of them is going to go up an octave. One of them is going to go up 2 octaves, just because I know I've done the lower frequency stuff already. E6. There it is. And I want to give this one a little bit more punch, and this one a little bit less click, just for some variety. And here's where it becomes complicated. I can't make more pattern generators. I think I can use a couple of logic circuits to cheat. And they only cost 0.25% each. So I don't know if these are going to end up being used as AND or XOR. But I'm just going to take the outputs of the pattern generators and connect them to the inputs. This guy hasn't even started yet. So this guy, his first job can be just to do the first percussion OSC. Let's just send them straight to the mixer. So we're going to get something like pitched hand drums here, at least without any processing on them. And the other two will be triggered by the outputs of those logic processors. I think I'm getting too much there, so I'm going to try different settings here. Good. These guys are a little bit loud for my taste. The bass line could probably get some more volume. While I'm at it, this is snare. Let's back these guys off slightly. Yeah, you can really hear the bass line coming through now. At least I can on my headphones. Neat. Check this out. Let's listen for a bit. I think we got it. I got one more weird thing I can do before we end for the day. This guy is divided by 4, but he's 16 steps long. If I add 4 more steps, there'll be an extra bar in there. So he'll still be repetitive, but add a bit of space to make it less 4-bar repetitive. So let's try that. Something went wrong, which is that I didn't do the same thing over here. That's okay. Let's just, wow, look at how close we are to running out of power. Let's do that. 99%. Yeah, and then as the sequence starts again. It's good. Let's give him an even bigger gap. Up to 24. Neat. I want to take this guy way down. Just dropping the first note of the thing down. This guy should be -12 instead. that step wasn't on. That's why. It's good. The break in the bass line lets the other part sort of speak for a bit and jam while nothing else is happening. Get something that you could call an IDM type sequence. When the two kick and snare came in there on the tempo that they're on, it gives them an IDM type feel. You still got that white noise low digirate cymbal for a bit of Game Boy flavor, and the hand drums doing their own thing there. So yeah, that was Headless Robo, the least planned patch I've created here so far. But we got something interesting. We used our processing power in an interesting way. A lot of this, I'm sure you could easily do on any other system. Swap out the format OSC with something else and you'll be fine. That's about it for me. Running out of time. One more time saying much love to all the commenters and supporters. I think we hit 50 subscribers. I know this sounds very YouTube 2019 or whatever, but I just like having people listen to the music that I do. So much more will be coming. More tube stuff, more micro modular stuff, just a bunch of stuff. So make sure you let me know what you like and what you like slightly less, and I'll adjust things accordingly. Good times, Father Moo out. Father Moo not out. Father Moo not out. Just realized I forgot to save this into the synth. And I also forgot to save the other patch from last time into the synth, but they'll all be in the shared folder, so don't worry about that.